Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man, and everybody knows what this is, right? This is the Singer 221 Featherweight. Not the K. It's not made in Great Britain, which is the K designation. Just a regular, good old Singer 221. And this one we're looking at today because we're going to show you real quick, or rather quickly, how to put your needle plate back on after you've taken it off to clear a malfunction underneath. And you get malfunctions underneath. Sometimes it'll lock up because you'll inadvertently turn the hand wheel away from you, even a half a turn, while the thread is down there being formed in the stitch. Turn it away from you, it locks it up. These are very persnickety in that they're very precise, and they don't give you a lot of room for error. So whenever you go to raise your needle up, if it's down, you always take your hand wheel over here and turn it towards you to complete that stitch and bring it back up. If it's in the down position and you turn it away from you, it's already in the process of locking that first stitch, and you give it another stitch to lock and it'll jam. So these get jammed up, and in the book it shows you to pick up the bottom thread by holding it toward the front. The book has an illustration of holding the thread to the front to pick it up. I would advise against that. Always hold it to the rear, because sometimes if you hold it from the front to lift up your thread to get started, it'll jam. So always hold the thread to the rear under the foot. So with that out of the way, I'll show you. A lot of times you take these two screws out and then it pops right off, and then you're not aware of the fact that it has this cool little position finger here right there, and that finger goes straight up and down, and it has to fit right here in your thread gap setting. This right here is where that little position finger for your bobbin case base goes. And you always want to make sure when you're putting this back on that this isn't off to the side and this is sitting on top of it, because you'll tighten your screws down and this will snap off, and then you're spending a whole bunch of money if you can find one of these, an original one. So when you put it back on, when your flap is up on the left hand side, when your flap is up like so, the needle plate won't go back on. Darn, now what? It's got to be down. Okay, it's got to be down in order to go back on. With it down, it goes back on real easy. But then you realize, well, for Pete's sake, that finger is not in the slot. Oh my gosh, you gotta like pull this down, flip that up. So then, make sure I've got some light on the subject here so we can see what the heck's going on, because this is critical. You don't want to break your machine, and you want to make sure that you get it right. And I mean, you gotta get it right. You see under here, there's the slot, and here's the finger. Well, I'll find it here in the dark. There it is, near the top. There's the finger, right there. There's the finger. Up here's the slot. So what we'll do, I'll turn it around to the light. That'll help. Genius. There you go. And you pull this around, and what I do is I bring it around, and then I nudge that up with my finger, and then slide it in the slot. When I say nudge it up, I don't knock it out of place. It comes back down, and it's in the slot between the, it's in where it needs to be, in here, and then you can raise your flat back up if you want to, so you can see what's going on. But you just nudge that up ever so slightly, slide it in, and you don't ever start tightening down any screws until you know for a fact this is in the slot. Because this is sitting off to the side, and the presser, or the needle plate rather, is on that, and you start tightening those screws down, this will snap off. It's very strong, but it doesn't have tensile strength. It has ductile strength. It's very strong, but it's not flexible. So make sure you have that in place, and then you put your flap down, put your screws back on, oil it down there where it needs to be oiled, and you're back in business. So that's a real quick how to put it back together, and that'll help you out to make sure you don't get in a pickle.